Well, this morning we find Aviwe Mtila just outside Eskom's Megawatt Park head offices just here in Sandton, north of Johannesburg. Aviwe, good morning again. Well, I'm sure it's somewhat of a bit of a good news to Eskom to know that they'll be getting that 23 billion rand every year for the next 3 years.
Well, it certainly is, Brad. And we heard that 23 billion over the next 3 years will be, in fact, to service interest on its debt. It's been given conditions by the finance minister on his maiden budget speech yesterday, saying that they need to appoint an independent chief reorganization officer, which will deal with the restructuring of Eskom. We heard from the State of the Nation address from President Cyril Ramaphosa that the utility, the embattled power utility, will be split into three. It seems that Eskom that we know will come to an end, and by mid next year, mid 2019, we'll have that splitting of Eskom into three, the generating, transmission and distribution units in place. We were supposed to speak to Eskom here today with its spokesperson, Khulu Phasiwe, but he hasn't shown up. We said that well, that interview for this time, we confirmed it yesterday already, but he hasn't showed up. We're expecting some sort of word to tell us directly what they'll do with this 23 billion.
Yes, I mean, part of it, as you said, for the restructuring, the splitting of Eskom into three parts, as mentioned by the President, announced by the President last week. But I mean, you are a utility that's got a debt of 420 billion rand. You yourselves are owed by over 30 billion rand in unpaid bills by municipalities. It's a very tough situation for Eskom to find itself in.
Certainly a tough situation. We heard from experts yesterday that they might actually have to write off that somewhere around 34 billion rand that it's owed by Soweto, 17 billion by Soweto residents, and also another 17 from municipalities, 17 billion. They might have to write it off, which will, of course, reflect on their financial losses. And eventually, the government might have to take on that debt, which will, of course, affect our credit rating as a country. So it is a tough situation still for them, even with this financial, with this relief that they received from the finance minister's maiden budget speech yesterday.
Yeah, and we know that some of the defaulting municipalities themselves are in dire financial straits, and people on the ground, like in Soweto, saying as far as they are concerned, they don't want to pay anything.
They certainly don't want to pay anything. They made it clear. I was in Soweto yesterday. They're saying that they will not pay anything. They actually want to have a sit-down with Eskom because they were promised free electricity. That's what they're saying. And they're saying that they refuse to settle that 17 billion rand debt. They also mentioned the issue of corruption within the embattled power utility, saying that with the State Capture Commission going on and the corruption that's been revealed from Eskom's side, why should they be paying as ordinary citizens when the big shots and the big guns that have been, that have put the embattled power utility to its knees aren't paying up? They're not being taken to count. They're not being taken to court. So why should they essentially have to pay that 17 billion? That was the word from Soweto yesterday when we were there and visiting them.
Thank you very much, Aviwe Mtila, outside Megawatt Park, the head offices of Eskom here in Johannesburg, the day after they were thrown somewhat of a lifeline partner. The writing off of that debt, it's a huge amount of money that Eskom is owed, but at this stage it looks like they might not have any choice.